Getting frosty.
It is getting cold here in Virginia.
It is getting cold.
But we have good insulation, which is why we're able to wear t-shirts on board right now, even though it's been super chilly.
Yeah, this boat holds heat like no other. It's amazing.
Very, very thankful for that, because otherwise, I don't know how we would have lasted in this cold weather. We've been here a lot longer than we anticipated, but it's a good thing. We've got a lot of projects done. If you guys have been following us the past few episodes, you know that we did a bunch of major installs to make Jibsea off-grid ready. But there has been a lot of tinkering on board as well. Like pretty much every day, we've been kept busy on board. And it's starting to feel a lot more like home.
Yeah, just doing little touches here because we're just kind of sitting. If I just sat all day waiting, I would just go insane. So I tinker like crazy. And I just want to make little things feel more like home. We're going to be tinkering with lights, because lights on a boat, especially on a full-time cruising boat, lights are really important. You need lights to light up sails properly. You want to be able to see in anchorages when you're coming in at night. And you just want to have nice mood lighting in the cockpit, because you're going to be hanging out in the cockpit quite a lot. As well in the saloon, when you're just in that evening setting, you want to have a drink, or you got people around and you don't want to have lights kind of blinding you in your face. I'm going to show you kind of lights that we've used on our previous boat and what we liked about them and why we're going to use them again. So first I'm going to start with our saloon stuff. We went with these neon strip lights. They're a really nice light because you don't see the individual light itself. On its own, it puts out a really nice even light, and you can get them in a warm light, so it's not a very bright, harsh light. Just comes with a bunch of these that I'm going to screw underneath this lip. Snap in. Got it all wired up to 12 volt, have the cable ran over to the panel here. This is our light side of the panel, this is our DC side, so I'm going to put it on the light side, where the lights are. I just have one of these on-off switches. These are like some other switches. That's red light. This is our cockpit light, and I'd like to change these switches out to ones like this, just at a different time. Blue light, that color actually matches the stereo. For us, when we're on an overnight passage, we typically don't just run red lights, because if we're coming down and cooking and stuff like that, these aren't effective when you're trying to do a bunch of things on the boat at night. We'll turn on normal lights, so being able to put a light down low where it's not in your direct line of sight really helps. It kind of keeps your night vision going, but still having a nice proper lighting to see what you want to do in the galley and whatever you're doing down below.
The inside lighting has made Jibsea feel a lot more cozy inside, but you also did work on the outside.
Yeah, I installed spreader lights, spotlights, functional navigational lights for when we're out sailing. I really like lighting up the sails because I find myself going to the foredeck a lot to do sail adjustment, or if something happens, something breaks and I have to go forward, or I gotta set up the pole. I really like to be able to be lit up. I don't want to have a headlamp on fumbling in the dark. I just want to be able to see everything. And it looks really cool if you're sitting at anchor and you just want to have them on. They light up the mast and they light up your boat like perfectly. They're a 4x4 rock light, so you put them in your fenders, so when you're 4x4 and you can see if there's any rocks in your wheel wells or not. Again, super cheap, like 20 bucks for 4 of them. The reviews are awesome. There's thousands of people that use them on their 4x4s, and obviously if it can take that harsh environment, they're gonna last on a boat, especially 20 plus feet up on your first spreader. I think a really good set of spreader lights are important, and on our last boat we had spreader lights that face down. This time we went with spreader lights facing up as well. So now when the sails are out, they're gonna light up the sails upwards and downwards. So I'll have like a really nice even lighting. Another important thing is, say you're sailing in an area where there's a lot of buoys, a lot of fishing traps, or if you're just trying to come into an anchorage at night and you can't see a boat in front of you, and you know the anchor lights all hide into the hills of houses and those kind of lights. I like a good spotlight. I want to come into an anchorage and be able to see what's in front of me, and especially if you're in the Caribbean, you can see the colors in the water, especially when you got a good light. So we went with these guys too. It's just another 4x4 light, and I have found these exact same lights in a marine store for $100 a piece, and they're literally the exact same. These again are like 25 or 29 bucks. So if you are interested in any of these products, we are going to leave them in our Amazon storefront if you want to check them out and potentially buy them from there. But yeah, all they are, just aluminum housing, and they're focused more on a spotlight with a bit of beam, because you have either a beam light, which is what you want on your spreaders, so it's a wider disbursement of light, versus a more concentrated, which the spotlight is. I'm also going to wire these in a sort of unorthodox way. There's no easy way to run a cable through our mast down into the boat because it's a deck stepped, and just trying to fish a cable down would probably be quite difficult. So we have an existing cable up there. It was an old Wi-Fi extender. They're like a multi-wire cable. So I'm just gonna steal all the wires in that cable and join them up. It's already ran, why not? And it's at the top of the mast. Two of them at the top of the mast facing down. My bad boy extreme antenna that I'm gonna take that, I think it's an RJ45 cable, and break that down to a positive and negative. I've done it in the past and it works totally fine. I'm gonna turn the orange and white and the blue and white to positive, and I'm gonna turn the green and white and brown and white to negative. The same power source, as long as I do the exact same on the bottom, which I will take. It's gonna be really loud in the background. Those jets are going off like crazy. As long as I make sure I match the exact same wires at the other end of the cable to these cables, I should be okay. I don't see why it wouldn't be a problem. And that just saves me from running a cable. And then we're gonna mount our spotlights somewhere off of here facing way down, so we're gonna get the whole boat and in front all lit up nicely. You can see that's actually quite a thick cable now. They're between a 14 and 16 gauge wire. These lights don't take a lot of draw, so even if there is a bit of voltage drop from the entire mast, it won't be a big issue. But I'll double check the wattages on my lights and the cabling and the size to make sure I should be up to spec, but I think that'll be okay anyways, because these look more than enough. And then what I did with these guys is I completely isolated them as best as I can. So I've added a PVC tape on the bottom of this steel. It's like a metal, it's a steel plate with an aluminum housing. And then I added PVC tape that's gonna match the plate to the housing. And then I've isolated the screw with a washer, as well as these pinch bolts with a washer. And then I'll add Lanacoat to all this. So hopefully there's no contact if these short out at all. Like it was meant to be. It didn't even have to drill and tap anything. It fit perfectly right there. And then I just gotta go down now and go get my drill and tap set so I can put one on the other side. Oh, if you're wondering, I'm safe. I got one halyard, two halyards. I trust this whole thing. And then I've got attached to my harness this, which is, it'll jam if both halyards let go. And then down below, I'm just gonna hook it up to 12 volt, and then I'm gonna run a wire all the way to where I'm gonna run our spreader light switch, so I can have two switches, spreader lights and spotlights. Probably right on where our control arm is on the pedestal. The view up here is not bad. Just a little FYI, if you plan on doing this, there isn't a lot of space in there, so you can see as it shifts. It's hard to do with one hand. So the bottom guy swings across, but gives you just enough clearance that you won't hit it there. And then when you go into reverse, this lever comes down almost. I couldn't have got any luckier, to be honest. I kind of measured it, but it was very hard to get an accurate guess. But that's for that stops. And that is, you can't see it, but it's like a millimeter of play right there. So adjust, it's perfect. Would have been trouble if it was literally a millimeter higher. I would have been humming and hawing what to do. I would have had to put, I guess, maybe a spacer on the outside to then bring it out a bit more to clear it, but Nope, it's perfect. Can't wait to put them to action. I haven't done our mood lighting in the cockpit. For our cockpit, we went with these little guys, which I think are really neat. And I don't know typically what they'd be made for specifically. I guess, I don't know, some other industry, but I always find that if you're looking for lighting in the boating industry, one, they're like crazy expensive, and two, I don't see a quality difference in most of the other lighting you find online. Maybe if it's an underwater light or something like that, yeah, you're gonna have a quality difference because it's gonna be under the water, spend the money. But on this stuff, they're affordable. You're gonna make your boat just like that much prettier. But these guys are wicked for the cockpit because you can hide them into a lot of places in the Bimini or Dodger without even noticing them. So I really like that because I don't like seeing lights in your face and seeing a big fixture or something. So I really like these guys, and these guys are only like 10 bucks on Amazon. You get a set of 3. We also celebrated your birthday here on the boat, which is fun.
It was our first birthday on board in our new home, and happy birthday to me. I got myself a new kitchen appliance.
I guess I got myself.
I got it for myself. Did you get it for me?
Well, we got it.
We had a microwave that was on Jibsea 2 already, and ever since the microwave on our previous boat, he always wanted to get rid of that. And then this boat came with a microwave. He also wanted to get rid of it. I finally sold it.
Man, I was excited about that.
But little did he know I had other plans for that space. It's like an air fryer, toaster thing all in one. That like cavity that we had there.
Yeah, it was just open exposed, looked ugly, and I figured if we're going to put a nice new little appliance there, might as well finish it because we had time, which then kind of sparked a bunch of other things. We had a bunch of wood left on the boat, and I just said, okay, well, let's see what I can make of it. And I think it's come together pretty nicely. Cleaned up one side of our settee.
A lot of the finishing that he did was just repurposing what we had on board. Like, we didn't go out to buy anything.
It's cool. There's stuff on the boat that I can make work, and I think I did a pretty good job.
It's not 100% finished yet because there's still some gluing, I think, that you need to do.
Yeah, it's just some like fine tuning, but it's enough that it looks a million times better.
We can't leave yet because there's still one special delivery we're waiting for, and we hardly ever have a mailing address. It's a major perk for us being here, and we're really, really excited about this last piece of equipment that we cannot leave the dock without.
Yeah, super important piece of gear, and we're really excited about it because it is an innovative, brand new product to the market, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's just going to totally change how we cruise, and I'm pumped.
So stay tuned for that because we are so excited to get it and to show you guys. We also want to share with you guys what our sailing plans are for this season, or once we leave this dock. So wintertime, we're going to be heading down to the sunny Caribbean for some warmer weather before we start making our way north to higher latitudes come spring, summer.
So we're going to go soak up the fun in the sun, learn the boat, put it through its paces a bit more, so we feel confident before heading back over to Europe. And we're going to do the old Viking route, which is Newfoundland, Greenland, Iceland, and then we want to do the Faroes again, and then we'll spend another winter sailing around Scotland. And I think we've got the perfect boat for it, so yeah, I cannot wait to get up there.
But for now, I am really excited to get down to the Caribbean because it is freezing. So we'll be floating around probably the BVI's and St. Martin, that sort of area. We're not going to go like too far south, I don't think. But if you see us floating around, do come and say hi because we always love meeting new friends.
It's really fun, especially St. Martin, because that's a kind of a hub. So hoping we get to see a lot more people that we've seen in the past.
Until then, we'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.